All right, welcome to Romera Records Podcast. Today we have on Rachel, my wife again. Today we really wanted to just talk about starting things. As you may know, I have the podcast and I do music, and I have been trying to get into skits. I did some skits with my friend Nelson. We did those back in Milwaukee, and eventually I'd like to start doing some more of those. But again, today we really just want to talk about, I guess, just starting things and being involved in whatever that you would like to do. A lot of people, they talk about doing things, but they don't always start them. And first, I just wanted to pretty much just ask Rachel what is something that she's wanted to do, and something like how she started with it.
So, one specific thing that I wanted to start would probably be, I guess, college. We could start there. I always contemplated it for many years, but until I actually took a step and moved to college and started going to college, that's just kind of like what got me going. I mean, classes and everything, you get to do those things. You figure out how those things go. You figure out how jobs go, and how your time management is supposed to go while you're doing it. There's really no way to plan ahead for something like that. It's just kind of, you have to take that first step in order to realize what comes next and how you're going to handle it. And that's just a really good factor in how to even figure out what you're made of. So, but yeah, just anything that you start with, you just have to, instincts tells you, maybe I should do this. Try it. Don't wait. Don't sit on it. Don't think about it too long. Just do it.
Well, how long did it take you to really, I guess, ponder going to college? Like, I know you, somebody kind of helped you make that decision for you, but I guess, after high school, were you immediately thinking about college, or was it that was something that was on the back burner?
That was honestly, while I was still in high school, everything I did in high school was in order to look good for college. So I had always thought about college since, I guess, the beginning of school. That's the whole reason I'm in school, that I thought. And I didn't really get there because I didn't really know how to start going to college at first, because I didn't have the income. I didn't know how to sign up. My parents weren't too helpful in that situation because they hadn't gone to college themselves. So, I mean, I got like college letters from universities saying, come to this college, come to this college. But it's just, I didn't know where to go from there. And then I already had jobs. So at that point, I was like, okay, so first step would be to probably save up some money. I could have really called somebody in the college institution, but I don't know. I think I talked to them before, and the gist I got from it was, it's possible. You just got to work. It's not going to be easy to work your way through college. But there wasn't actually a first step. When it came to me actually going to college, I realized saving up money was not possible for college. You're going to be thousands in debt no matter what, if you don't have, money for that sort of thing. And so my friend and her family, they knew first steps. Like, they've had kids, they went to college, their kids went to college, and it just so happened that their daughter was going to this college that was supposed to be the cheapest in the U.S., Minot State. And so they let me know that they seriously wanted me to come with them, and they would help me set things up. So it's great to have friends that would help you in that manner. And they really, really did do me a solid by taking care of, who to talk to. And, I always felt like I was going in circles with talking to people on the phone with college and everything. But Teresa, Mother Teresa, took care of all that for me, and I just ended up coming and just paying dues. And from that point on, it was just, I knew where to go from there. I go to counselors, I talk to them about my classes, and I made sure I handled my debt in a timely manner. And at that point, it was this is all me. So it took a while, but whenever I got the help of a friend and their family, it was pretty hasty. I want to say within like a month. Within a month, I let my job know, hey, I'm going to be peacing out. I'm going to be going to college. And, they were understanding. But so don't be afraid to let your job know that you're bettering your life. A lot of times, if you have an employer that's mature and a good employer, actually, they'll say, good for you. Let us know if you're back in town, and you can pick right back up where you left off.
Funny she brings that up because actually when I got out of the Air Force, I started doing that program for the telecommunications and climbing the towers, and that was kind of sketchy at first because I was trying to become a Huntsville police officer, and then I had my interview for that, and then I got the phone call to do the telecommunications, and I was like, screw it, whatever. So I did that, and then after that is when I started working the job with Infinity, and then I got the phone call for the AAM program. So while I'm at the AAM program, Rachel is trying to decide on what she's going to do at her job, and I ended up taking a job here in Memphis, which is somewhat close to where we were living with my parents, and Rachel was trying to decide on if she wanted to quit her job immediately and come stay with me, or if she was going to stay and do her job for a while. And that was a pretty big decision for you. And it was funny what you just brought up about just don't be afraid to let your job know that you're quitting so you can better yourself, because Rachel was super sketched out about quitting her job. She was like, was it like weeks that you were really worried about that?
Oh, I was so worried. I have a little bit of anxiety, people. Who doesn't? But that just kind of, it hit me hard just because I found this job in the middle of him going through school. And at this point I was like, I don't know his exact end date. Maybe I can make some cash on the side. We'll see where this job goes. So I applied for this job. They didn't accept me till a month or so later. I go to find out what Lifetime is, and it's amazing. It's the biggest and best gym I've ever
Lifetime
seen.
Fitness, by the way. That's the gym she works
at. It ends up being these employers that were around my age. They were female, and that was a whole new world for me. I've never been in that situation. So I could really relate to them. We were always trying to get each other's back, and I was learning so much. And they skyrocket me to the assistant manager.
The assistant to the assistant manager.
Yeah.
Her life was a living office.
Yeah.
Yeah, the office for sure.
Yeah, so I was like, man, these people trust me, and they're so nice, and they're just, I like where this is going. It felt great. So then, Jackson hits me up with his end date, and I'm like, whew, the whole reason they hired me was so I could do this job in the summer.
When did you get hired there?
February.
Okay, so she got hired there in February, and I'm in the middle of the AAM program. I guess sort of kind of started. But anyways, I got there in the middle of January, and so I've only been there for probably a month, and it's a 3-month program. And
we weren't sure where you were going to end up.
Yeah, we didn't know where I was going to end up because I had multiple job offers in different locations. So Rachel's just trying to decide on, where we're going to end up living and if she can transfer. If she can even transfer with Lifetime. And when I hit her with the headed to Memphis, it was close to home. And so she was thinking about, will she be able to just stay with my parents and just continue working where she's at for a little while and then move up with me. But I thought it was it was pretty hilarious just listening to you be upset about that, because I understand that you were trying to quit a job that you loved, but I was like, they have another one up there.
It's different.
And I was like, it's not like you can't just work at another gym. Like Rachel's a certified personal trainer. Like she can work literally at any gym that she wants to in the whole world. It's just, does she want to make that leap? Does she want to start that new beginning? And that's something that, a lot of people struggle with, no matter what it is. Even people can be qualified for something and still not want to do it. I think that's so crazy. But even so look at job applications nowadays. A lot of job applications will have, we need you to have this, this, and this. It'll be like outlandish stuff. They'll be asking for things that they'll be qualified for, or they'll be not qualified for, and the people who will get the job can be either or, and that prevents people from wanting to actually start that process, start throwing out their applications to certain kinds of jobs because they're not sure of what's going to happen. And that that type of anxiety is I think that's very prevalent in pretty much anybody, really. I can't think of a certain group of people that shouldn't affect, but if you're trying to start something new that you've never done before, it's completely normal to just be nervous about it and to feel like that you might fail, because that's a possibility. You might fail. If you think that you're going to do something that you've never done before and just hit it out of the park, something's wrong with you, because that rarely happens. There's very few people singers, rappers, producers, actors, actresses. There's no telling how many actors and actresses there are, and that move to California. Like, hey, I'm taking all my stuff, I'm selling it, I'm going to move to California and move to Los Angeles and become an actor or actress. That's probably half the homeless people out and freaking what they call it, Skid Row. Is that what Joe Rogan called that in that podcast? So. Skid Row. But yeah, there's so many people who that attempt to do something and they fail, and that is completely fine. That should not stop you from starting something new. Is the fear of failure. The fear of failure should be something that you thrive on. It's something that I thrive on because I get excited to fail. Like, I know that sounds crazy.
It makes sense with how you do things. It makes sense.
I get so excited. It's not so much I'm excited to fail as it is I'm excited to see how I'm going to deal with it. Like, if I had 3 wishes, one of my wishes would be to observe myself, to see how I react to things, because I like to put pressure on myself to do things. Like, I don't have to be in school right now for Full Sail. I already know a lot of music stuff, but I'm still learning. And with that, it enables me to see if I can even do it. Like, can I get a second bachelor's degree? Can I actually finish the schooling? It's 2 years long. Can I handle that with a full-time job and a wife and a dog that needs all my love and attention?
All of it.
So I say I love the fear of failure, but it's not so much that as it is, I just want to see, can I do it? Can I start something that I am unfamiliar with and then take that task and knock it out of the park and do well? And that's just my personality. I don't like to just do something. Like, if I'm going to do something, I want it to be, I'm going to blow it out of proportion. Somebody's like, hey, let's shoot some fireworks. I'm like, yo, we need to get some Roman candles and have a what they call it, Roman fireworks war or whatever. we need to get one of those $600 fireworks. Like, I like to, I'm not an all or nothing type person, but I'm the type of person that if we're going to do something, I want it to be fun. I want to enjoy whatever I'm doing. So again, if you fear starting something new, and if you fear, I guess, just doing something that is out of your element, just give it a shot. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to fail.
End up right where you are.
And then you're going to end up right where you are right now.
Yeah. It's not that I'm like fearful of failure. It's just, it's more that, sometimes I like to take my failure in doses. You know, like
because you don't want to consistently feel like a failure.
Yeah. I need to have a little bit of good with a little bit of bad.
Yeah.
So I have to know that I'm ready for some aspect of the job, which is, you know, even now that I have transferred from my original job I transferred here to another job, it's testing me once again. And it's something that I was like, if I'm not going to do it now, like, what's the point of even doing it in the future?
Yeah.
You know, like, if it's something I want to do, I might as well do it right now. I might as well get that experience under my belt right now. Because what's going to change with me later? I'm going to read a few more books. That's not experience. You know, that's not living through what you want to do.
Yeah.
So
there was somebody I was listening to. Oh, it was Gary Vee. A lot of you might have seen Gary Vee's or listened to Gary Vee's podcast, and if you follow him on Instagram, he posts all of his like podcasts or interviews that he does all the time. Dude's got amazing advice. He's not some crazy guru or anything, but what he does is he takes information that people should know and he brings it to light. Like he'll take something super simple that everybody should be aware of, and then he just says it, and it's like, you know, light bulb clicks on.
Duh.
But yeah, one of those duh moments. But Gary said something about what'd you just say?
which part?
What you literally just said.
About no. This is a good question. If we had a tape, we could rewind it. I was mentioning about.
Dang, you don't even know what you just said.
You started talking about what I just said. Okay, just go.
That's the whole reason why I brought up the Gary Vee thing. But shoot, yeah, that just ruins that.
I don't know.
I didn't know what I was going off of.
I do follow Gary Vee's trainer. Well, used to be trainer, Sciat Fitness. It's a good follow-up.
I have no idea who that is.
You should look it up. He's a really good trainer.
What does he train? Is it just like just random people?
Well, it was Gary Vee for the last several years.
That's the only person he trained?
Yeah, a few years.
Jesus.
He was like
Gary dishing out the money.
Well, Gary Vee was in a point where he would have to book a flight on a certain side of the plane because his neck was like crinked a certain way and he couldn't, like, his back hurt so much he couldn't move it in certain ways.
That sounds awful.
And so like his flexibility was like just this is as far as he could go. And now he's like all the way over because of Sciat Fitness. He's traveled with him like through different countries and everything, and he said he's worked with him every day, like 3 times a day for like the last 3 years. So that just seems pretty impressive. But yeah, he's not working with him anymore. I just figured I'd bring that up because he's a really good like fitness enthusiast, and I don't know, he's still building himself up, and I thought, you know, he's got a lot of experience from Gary Vee too, so that's just like another good mesh right there.
Oh, okay. Well, that still doesn't help me figure out what I was trying to say about Gary. That's gonna bother me. I would have made this whole podcast. This would have got like 1 billion views if I had remembered this one thing that Gary said.
Well, what was I saying? I was talking about
I don't know. Let's skip it.
Anxiety or something?
No. That was so long ago. Yeah. But anyways, so with me and my music, that was something that I just started with basically talking to people. So shout out to my homeboy Leak. So I met him January of 2018. Yeah, January 2018. While I was in the Air Force, and basically it started out, we were just talking about music, and I think we were just listening to music while we were at work, and then I was like, yeah, I kind of like produce music or whatever, and I rap, and he was like, oh, for real? And he did the same thing too. And so I was able to take what he knows, and I was able to continue my growth from learning from him, because he had been doing it for years and I had literally just started, and I didn't know anything at all about not only the business. Like I knew a little bit about, you know, the major labels like Universal and was it Warner Group, whatever. But I knew stuff like that. But as far as like getting into business and stuff like that, I think he knew a little bit more because he had, you know, been actually doing music and stuff like that. So, and then also there was other people that I started messaging and just trying to figure out more about music. And then I would go on websites and Google everything whenever I had the chance to.
Let's let mysteries.
Wow.
Google, shut up.
Yeah, that was my phone turning on because of Google. But yeah, so basically, whenever I wanted to know some information, I would just find a person or just Google search it, because that allowed me to take actions into my own hands and to figure something out, because of, you know, I'm the type of person that, dang, now I remember the Gary
What
Vee
was
thing.
it?
Yeah, just me saying that. So Gary was talking about how he's the type of person that I think he says that if he does something instead of reading a book about it. Oh yeah, that's right. Because he said he hates reading. He was like, he thinks reading is stupid. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think he said that. I don't think he said like it's just stupid. But he doesn't find it, I guess, like the most efficient way to learn something. He thinks that, you know, if I can, you know, if I can do it, if I can just get my hands into it, then I can learn it. So for some people, if they read something, they can learn it. But Gary was saying, you know, if I just do it, I don't have to read about it. I don't have to Google search it. I don't have to read a book. If I just go out there and just do it, and if I fail, I fail, but I learned. And so I don't need to just sit at home and read 5 books about how to become a great violin player. I just start playing the violin. And if I take the time that it took me to read 5 books and just play the violin, then I can become just as good if I was just reading those books. So that was something I thought was very, I guess, intuitive for him to say, because a lot of people, they feel like, I know you're like this way. You feel like if you don't know everything about a subject, then you just don't do it. You don't talk about it. You don't want to have anything to do with it. But Gary was trying to point out that you're never going to know everything about something. You're never going to be fully prepared for something. So might as well just go ahead and do it and then figure it out along the way. And so I really like that, what he was trying to say.
Yeah, and that's really honestly what pushed me into the job that I am taking Monday. Proud to be me. But one thing you said earlier was that you Google things and then you also go and find a person. And that's something that I was talking to my friend about the other day, is that you literally like go to a famous person's either Instagram, or you just message them, you find them on social media and you message them somehow, and you ask them, and you just talk to them about, hey, like, how do I get to like where you are, or something along those lines. Or you just ask them about their product, or try to buy something, you know, that they give in order to learn how to be like them. And I was like, something I never even thought about. Like, I want famous people to know that I think they're people too, but that's why I'm not, you know, stalking them and trying to like follow them around everywhere they go and being just like them and dressing like them, and, you know. But I never took it to a point where I thought I could actually talk to them, because I always think they have so much stuff going on in their hands. Why would they?
Keep that mic a little closer.
Why would they want to
There you go.
speak with me if they have all this stuff going on with them? Like, what do I know about a subject that they could relate to?
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I find it so, I guess, cool that you just never mind that, and you're like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Like, you're actually treating them like they are equal, instead of like me. I'm like, yeah, they're equal, but they don't want to talk to me.
Yeah. Which, I'm the type of person that I never feel like anybody is too good to give out information. For instance, I think that if you are at a point to where you are a professional, you are the best at what you're doing, if no matter what you do, I don't feel like you have to give out information. Again, I was talking about this with Sage. Like, I don't feel like Sage, him being an absolute champion, I don't think he's obligated to be teaching young people. But at the same time, why not? Like, why not strengthen your audience that way? You'll gain so many more people by just teaching people. Somebody comes up to you, hey man, I just wanted to know how to do this throw or how to do this arm bar or something like that. He's like, yeah, cool, let me show you right quick. That person, that's going to make their life, and they're going to tell everybody they know that Sage Bender helped me do this. And they're going to be like, who's Sage Bender? Oh, let me show you. And then boom, that's going to spread like wildfire. So if you're a type of person who you're a professional at what you do, take the time out to just show somebody something that you know, because that person will never forget it. While I was actually in Milwaukee a lot, I really feel I don't have the time for that now, but I would get on chat roulette all the time at night, and then I would just talk to random people, would just be on there all the time, just talking to random people. And sometimes those people would have like a guitar in their hand, or they would be singing, or they'd be doing something. I'd see something in the background. I'm like, yo, you do music? And they'd be like, yeah, but I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. And I'm like, stop all that. You just got to do it. Like, forget what other people are saying. It doesn't matter. Just do the music and then just put it out there. If it sucks, people are going to tell you it sucks. And then you're like, okay, that sucks. And then you move on. You can't. Another thing that can cripple people is thinking that they're good. If you think that you're good, but you don't know that you're good, that can cripple you because you're just assuming that you're good at something. But if you don't have anybody telling you something, and that's another thing Gary Vee brought up, is people overestimating their worth. Because you can sit back and think that you're worth $1 billion, but if nobody wants to pay you $1 billion, guess what? You're not worth $1 billion, so nobody cares about you. Mm-hmm. So if you are overestimating, your talents, then your talent's not going to grow, and whatever you're trying to begin in your life isn't going to prosper. So make sure that whatever you're doing, whether you are, a pro at it, or if you are unsure about it, make sure that you continue to just, talk to people about it and continue to take that thing and just spread it out amongst people.
Yeah, and to piggyback on top of that, what you said about teaching younger people, that's something that I never saw myself teaching swim lessons. That was a little thing that I went into college, and they needed somebody to teach swim lessons, and I needed a job. So I jumped in on that, which got me a job at Lifetime. And I think I've learned so much about myself just from teaching all these different ages of kids. And now I've been teaching adults as well. And me being afraid to take that step to be a personal trainer when I've been certified for almost over a year now, is the anxiety of me training a person in weights has just completely went away, just because I've taught a person swim lessons, a grown adult, and I only have the experience from college, which was a few months, and it was very simple. That's pretty much all I got to say about that, is just gaining experience from teaching all age types and just going out there and taking it day by day. So.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in for this episode of the podcast, and hopefully in the future we can continue to have great conversations about things that people struggle with, and hopefully we can motivate you to get out there and do something. Next time, I believe I might have on a guest, but it might be Rachel again, so don't be disappointed.
Wow.
All right, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.